Huge uphill task for PSG, travelling to the Nou Camp, trying to overcome a 3-1 defeat at home in the Champions League. So let's talk about how they could do that. Pretty impossible, but I will do my best. Let's talk some tactics. So the first thing I'm going to do is highlight what Barcelona were doing well in Paris, because PSG, of course, at the disadvantage with not having Zlatan Ibrahimovic and not having who I think may have been even more important in this game by what I'm going to talk about, Verratti. So in the context of missing Verratti, I'm going to highlight a couple of Barcelona's goals and how they came about, starting with the first one. So it's a criminal error, if you look here, when you play against Barcelona, to not have someone sit in this role, because this should be all you're doing. And it's Matuidi, and I know Matuidi's good in these areas, and he could wander up, and he picked out the cross that actually led to Van der Wiel's deflected shot going in. But when you're playing against Barcelona, you only have one job, mate. You should not be moving past this area. If your defence moves up, you move up with them, and you should be like a triangle, and have your defenders sitting back and covering so that you make sure that you're all stable to watch the runs of Neymar, watch Suarez dropping deep, and more importantly, watching Lionel Messi in this area, because he picks up the ball so deep. So what happened in the first leg, without Verratti, Matuidi took it upon himself to be more of an attacking midfielder, joint in that midfield partnership. Both of them were moving up and back together. But what happens is you leave this gap in here, and you cannot do that against Barcelona. So when Matuidi was caught far too high up, Lionel Messi picked the ball in here. What happened? Defender gets drawn out. Neymar stems in, ball into the back, in behind the line, and he puts it into the bottom corner. And straight away, after what was a promising somewhat 10 minutes from PSG, where they looked dangerous counter-attacking, they're put on the back foot against a Barcelona team that are ruthless when they're given the opportunity. So what has to be done with Verratti coming back is you need to play almost like Matuidi needs to sit here. If Matuidi cannot do that job, I'm afraid you have to either come with a midfield three and play Matuidi and Verratti in there as a midfield duo, and have someone like Thiago Motta, who you know will not move from that area, sit in there. Because when you're playing against Barcelona, if you give them this room in here, what happens is with someone like David Luiz, who, as we see against Suarez, loves to try and drop in, try to win the ball, and Suarez is left one-on-one, and he'll demolish them all day. I know Thiago Silva's a great defender, and hopefully his injury is not too bad and he can make it back, but Luis Suarez will beat even the best defenders one-on-one. You cannot give him that opportunity. So that's the first thing that Barcelona will do, but PSG have to just sit a defensive midfielder in there, because they cannot get caught doing that. And what happens when PSG started to attack in the first half is when they broke Barcelona's bank of four, because Barcelona often drop into their own box. How did they get their goal? The ball was whipped in, and Barcelona was so deep that they couldn't get out in time to close down Van der Wiel. His shot was deflected, and that is what they have to do. With Zlatan Ibrahimovic inside the box, they need to make sure to get it into the big man, because you know fine well he's going to push up and sit right on the last man of Mathieu, who hasn't really been tested. Sit on him, have Cavani pick up the straps, because I don't think Cavani's good enough to lead the line his own. Have him sit off Ibrahimovic, feed it into the big man in there, have him hold it up. But you're going to have to worry about what I just mentioned there in the holding midfielder. And Barcelona, in terms of what they will do tactically, is the exact same thing. They'll pick the ball up in deeper areas. They'll have Messi drop in and draw out PSG's defenders so that he can find this area. All these markings of my pen, basically, they emphasize what Messi does. Is he'll wander wherever he can to pick the ball up. And as soon as he picks it up, if PSG do not have someone who's going to just sit in here to shield their back too, Messi will drive, draw them out, and Suarez and Neymar are so fluid in their movement that they will punish them. So the key for PSG is to have one holding in there. The key for Barcelona, I would like to talk about it, but they're going to have to stick to their exact same game plan, because they're very good at doing so. And I have no doubts in saying that if they hold out and don't concede a goal in the first 10-15 minutes, Barcelona will go on and win this comfortably. My prediction is a 2-1 win at the Nou Camp for Barcelona. What do you guys think? Comments in the section below. Be sure to subscribe to TYT Sports. Stick around, plenty more Champions League coverage. Of course, a recap will be coming exactly after the game, in which I'll be very opinionated, and hopefully you agree. Comments in the section. Thanks, guys.